Tasmania has become a destination for the great and the good, with some of Australia's best five-star lodges, world-class art galleries, and landscapes that look a little like Middle-earth, but with wombats instead of hobbits. In fact, the wildlife in Tasmania is one of its biggest draw cards, one of its most famous stories being the legend of the Tasmanian tiger. The Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, was the world's largest carnivorous marsupial, but was regarded as a threat to local sheep farmers, so was hunted out of existence. It was declared extinct in the 1980s, but some people still believe it exists. After lunch in Hobart, Tasmania's capital city, I set out to explore the island and see if I can spot a tiger for myself. In fact, the tiger is everywhere, from the beer to the number plates. There's even the option of taking home a thylacine drinks cooler if you fancy it. I head down to Port Arthur, Tasmania's most famous penal colony, to get an insight into the island's history. It began as a timber station in 1830, but evolved into the British Empire's favourite place to send its undesirables. Driving up north towards Freycinet, a really picturesque corner of the island, I hear my first tiger tale.
One of the later authenticated sightings was on this property. They were shooters, and they were on a kangaroo drive out on the back of the property, and they saw this going across the hill. They said that it was in sight of them for a minute or so, and each one pointed it out to the others, and so they all came home, about 10 of them, all came home having seen it. We looked out for them for a long time.
Inspired by Bill's story, I head deeper into the wild. I stop in at my hotel, Sapphire Freycinet. I've been looking forward to this for ages. It looks a little like a giant stingray-shaped spaceship, and is Tasmania's top luxury destination. After being pampered at the hotel, I drive to the Wilderness Gallery at the Cradle Mountain Chateau and meet Heather Mather, who works at the gallery's Tasmanian Tiger exhibition.
I do think that back in the early 1900s it was a bit of a survival for our people with big families, and they had to survive, they had to put their meals on the table, and I guess that they didn't even think that this may happen.
And when people say to you that they have seen one, what's your reaction?
They've talked about older relations that say that they have seen them on the roads or near the roads, and I guess they don't say too much because people don't believe them anymore.
I leave the exhibition behind and drive up to the northeast, where the last known tiger was trapped and shot. Here I meet Craig Williams, a wildlife expert.
Does the tiger still exist? So that's an interesting question. So if I said yes, people would probably say you're telling fibs, trying to promote your own business. If I said no, I might be.
Craig takes me deep into Tasmania's ancient forests to see what we can find. So 48% of the island is locked away, so that could mean that the tiger actually exists.
Well, you wouldn't know what was out there, would you? There's little streams and creeks no one's ever been on. If you look at one World Heritage Area alone, it's 1.6 million hectares of nothing. No roads, no people, no houses.
And no tigers, unfortunately, but Craig picks some ingredients for a bush tucker dinner that night. Stocked up on pepperbush leaves, we visit Craig's cabin in the middle of nowhere, where he wines and dines me, introduces me to the local wildlife, before serving up dessert. So what is this?
Well, I'll tell you what I think it's not. It's not devil, it's not human, it's not dog, it's not quail. Your guess is as good as mine.
So why are you telling us about this alleged tiger scat?
Oh, well, you showed a bit of interest in that side of things, so I thought I'd give you something to go away and think about.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Oh, that's all right. You're the first one to say it.
Was Craig telling the truth? Your guess is as good as mine. But his story has only made Tasmania an even more intriguing place to visit.